So what I'm here to talk to you about really quickly is the tale of a rebuild, something that we endeavoured over the past kind of 18 months. So that's me yawning in Rome somewhere. My wife took that on, I think it's cool. So remembering our roots, I think the thing we had is we had this app that was built by one person over the space of about 3 years, maintained, had a crash-free rating of 99.9%, worked really well, but was super unmanageable. There was like millions of lines of code. Everything was point-based layout. It was really hard to use. And it felt a little bit like this. It was a giant Swiss Army knife. It did everything, but it didn't do any of them very well. So the first thing we had to do was do a bunch of research. So the guy from Facebook talked about it earlier, about doing research and that kind of design process. So we used design thinking. And the first thing we did is we embarked with a UX researcher, and we got some of these quotes. The one that stands out for me is that a girl wakes up 20 minutes early to use her laptop rather than use her mobile app. Having a feature that's uniquely useless is pretty bad as well. So we had a design sprint. And for people who aren't familiar with a design sprint, we took a week out, started with some problem statements, explored those problem statements, developed some empathy for the user, and then started looking at what that meant. So this was us camped in a room. It got a bit silly when we started playing with paper and making paper airplanes, but we started evolving what we thought our app could do. So using those kind of problem statements, we looked at things like Tinder for tickets, so the idea of being able to swipe left and right, and whether we could encapsulate triaging of tickets to just a left and right swipe. Turns out you can't. But yeah, so we kind of went along and built out some stuff, and then we decided we needed to validate our prototypes. So this is some of our motley crew. We basically harassed a bunch of our customers at what we host are these Zen universities where people learn how to use our product. We jumped on them, gave them swag if they would tell us what they thought about our product. Once we realized that it was worth doing, we decided to build something. This is a screenshot from Zeppelin, and what I wanted to call out here is the kind of attention to detail that one has to take in terms of typography and making things look beautiful. The red boxes are what we actually figured out as how frames should look like in iOS. When you use a custom typography and NS attributed strings, they don't line up. Like when you give it a line height multiplier, it doesn't work so well. So we had to do this sort of trickery to kind of figure out what we did. We launched a beta, we got some feedback, and we fixed a lot of bugs, and then we shipped a new app. It was a great day, and this is what our new app looks like. It's pretty. Yeah, it was great. You know, we borrowed a lot from material design concepts. We freshened things up. We focused on really key pieces of information. But the key thing to it is that we realize is listening to our customers is really important. And one thing some people might not know is Zendesk has an SDK. This is Nibblers, a game that has the SDK built into it. And we, like our customers, decided we needed the SDK. So we integrated it into our app, and this is basically a simple view of the screen. It allows you to report a bug, give us some kudos, or just general feedback. Give us a star rating. We literally read every piece of feedback we get. We process it. If it feels like a bug, we reach out to the customer and say, hey, how can we help? But some of the lessons that we learned through all this. Be brave. Have a bigger beta than we did. We were kind of scared that people wouldn't like what we had, so we kept it kind of constrained and small. And the reality is that it makes it too easy to pass off feedback as once-off feedback when the sample size is quite small. So the larger your beta, the easier it is to understand the feedback. Making wholesale changes can be quite jarring. It was a fundamental navigation structure change, information architecture changed, the UI changed. We brought so much new stuff into the app. It scared a lot of people. They had muscle memories from 4 years of using the exact same style of app. It was hard for them. The other thing is having analytics is good, but trusting in your data is more important than anything. One last slide. Change is good. We don't regret it, but we've learned a lot from it. Thank you.